Hey, Guitar Nerdist here with another video on Elden Ring. In this video, I will share 2 easier ways of defeating Malenia as an intelligence build, and that's without abusing any glitches to cheese the fight. I know there is a glitch that can be used to easily defeat her, but it was not intentionally designed by the developers, so I personally think it would be a disservice to them on how much time they spent on this boss fight if you don't even try to fight her legitimately. But with that aside, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first method of defeating Malenia that I'll cover is actually my favorite way to fight her. I may be a little biased on that given that I prefer using my Frost Spellblade build, but regardless, this is how you do it. To start, be sure you have Godfrey's icon, the Shard of Alexander, as well as the Dragoncrest Greatshield and Graven-Mass Talismans equipped before starting the fight. You'll also want to use Lusat's Glintstone staff with the Darkmoon Greatsword, the Jellyfish Shield, and a secondary weapon of your choice with the Bloodhound step equipped on it as the Ash of War. You will need 16th strength for the Greatsword and 20 for the Jellyfish Shield if you want to run this build, and I'm currently using 30 endurance to help keep my equip load within the medium range while using heavier armor, but my only main recommendation there is to use the Snow Witch hat to apply 10% buff to frost sorceries like Adula's Moonblade and Ranni's Darkmoon, both of which we should have equipped. I also recommend using Terra Magica and the Stars of Ruin as well, but Ranni's Darkmoon requires 68 intelligence, which is the highest stat requirement with these spells, just as a FYI. Also, don't forget to use the Cerulean Hidden and Magic-Shrouding cracked tiers in your Flask of Wondrous Physick so you can get infinite FP for 15 seconds while boosting your magic attacks by 20%. In fact, if you want to finish the first stage of the fight quickly, then I'd recommend popping the Flask of Wondrous Physick immediately so you can summon Tiche, use a Darkmoon Greatsword special skill to coat the weapon, and then fire off a quick couple rounds of Ranni's Darkmoon, which will nerf Malenia's magic negation by 10%. If you cause Frostbite with it, you'll actually reduce her magic negation by another 20% too, but this nerf only lasts for 1 minute, so be sure to get in as many attacks as possible to speed up the fight. Don't forget to keep using the Jellyfish Shield special skill to apply a 20% buff to all damage for 30 seconds. This combo is great with the Shard of Alexander and Godfrey's icon since they all stack on top of each other with the Greatsword's ranged projectile that you can sling out. You will need to dodge a good bit though, since trying to block with a shield may not be practical with the flurry of attacks Malenia can dish out, but that's why we're using the Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman to reduce physical damage taken by 20%. But either way, just be careful at the very beginning of the second stage of the fight. You'll want to immediately run and dodge backwards to avoid this special attack that she does, hence why I use Bloodhound steps since it makes it a lot easier to create some extra distance away from her. But once she is on the ground, just stay away and cast another couple of Ranni's Darkmoons at her to apply that nerf again, and if you're lucky you might actually be able to cancel out her other special attack that she does when she jumps up into the air. This is the other main attack you definitely want to make sure you dodge as much as possible. You could take some hits, but if you get staggered at all, you'll be cutting it close. If you made the first stage of the fight quick though, then Tiche should have enough health left over to gain Malenia's attention again for you to heal up or to safely get some more hits in. Just be ready to dodge anytime she jumps up into the air, and be sure not to get too close after she does her special Scarlet Rot attack, and you should have this fight in the bag. Obviously here, for the sake of this video, I let her kill me so I can show you how to beat her another way too. For this build, we'll switch out the Shard of Alexander with the Graven Skull Talisman for some extra sorcery damage, but we'll keep the rest of the equipment mostly the same. Now that we're just using Lusat's Glintstone staff and the Misericorde Dagger for the Bloodhound step Ash of War, we can equip some heavier armor to help us some more with defense. Here I'm using the Twin Sage Glintstone crown just to boost my intelligence stats for extra scaling damage, but feel free to use whatever you prefer. Just be sure to reallocate your flask so that you have plenty of FP to burn through with the staff. If you dodge most of the attacks with Bloodhound step, you should actually be able to make it by with just 4 healing flasks like I have here. For spells, we just use the Stars of Ruin, Terra Magica, and Common Azure, so you'll need 60 intelligence, but it is well worth it to make the fight easier. Either way, we'll still start the fight by summoning Black Knife Tiche, however I would recommend saving the Flask of Wondrous Physick for the second stage of the fight since we can just spam the Stars of Ruin from a distance while Tiche continues to be a distraction. If you're lucky, Tiche's Black Blade can actually remove about 10% of Malenia's health as well, hence the grayed out section of her health bar. Once you start the second stage of the fight, just be ready to immediately run and dodge backwards again. If you're able to successfully dodge the full attack, then it may be worth using Terra Magica first to buff Common Azure by 35%. But if you take any hits like I did here, just spam Common Azure after drinking your Flask of Wondrous Physick to make sure you get enough time to take her health down some before she starts attacking again. After you dodge some more of her attacks and create some distance away from her, then just spam Common Azure again and rinse and repeat until you finally have her down for the count. Obviously, there are plenty of other approaches to this fight, but these are the main two I came across that made it noticeably easier for me as an intelligence build. If you're curious to experiment though, using Carrion Slicer with the Azure Staff or using Night Comet instead of the Stars of Ruin are not bad options either. I wouldn't recommend any group-based spirit summons or the Mimic tier though, since you'll just regain more health off of them rather than them being of much help. But if you still have trouble with this fight, or want to learn how to get any of this equipment, then feel free to check out my OP guide to help make sure you haven't missed anything. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video though, and feel free to comment below if you'd like to see me cover any other Elden Ring topics, but until next time, happy gaming!